What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Chad Sommer, here on Rock Bottoms Up Podcast, where we shine a light on the darkest corners of addiction and illuminate the path to recovery. Today, we're diving into the persuasive and often hidden struggle of porn addiction. This is a serious issue affecting millions, but there is hope. Through powerful stories and those who have faced this battle and emerged victorious, we aim to inspire and equip you with the tools to overcome. Each episode, we bring you real life testimonies and expert insights to help you understand, combat, and conquer addiction. So whether you're struggling yourself, supporting a loved one, or just seeking to understand, you're in the right place. Guys, this is not a very comfortable topic. But you know what? It's just like we said, we're here to help equip. We're here to help inspire, and also give the right tools for people out there who are struggling in their addictions. So, let's get into it. Ask yourself this right now. Is pornography bad? Yes or no? In your head. Now, for me, I'm going to tell you, porn is bad. I'll get into it. So what defines a porn addiction? Porn addiction is when you can't stop looking at porn, even if you wanted to. And the obsession gets to the point that it interferes with family, school, work, even just parts of your daily life. So if you're addicted to porn, basically when it takes over your life and it becomes unmanageable. Now, here's an interesting fact. Pornhub recorded 42 billion visits. 42 billion visits. That's 115 million a day. Another interesting fact is that it is so easy to access. I mean, everybody has a phone. I mean, it seems like everybody has a phone, at least access to the internet. And now, given the fact that you can view porn privately, it's a lot easier, to hide an addiction or become addicted when nobody knows what you're doing. And this creates compulsive behaviors that thrive on secrecy. My porn addiction, I guess when I really got curious about porn is when I was 8 years old. 8 years old. My dad used to work at a shoe store, and when I'd get sick, I'd have to go to work with him, and I'd be in his office, and I'd usually just kind of like make a little cubby hole, in the corner of the room, and I'd just hang out all day until Dad was done, and then we went home. Well, come to find out, one of these days, the office door shut. And there was this picture of this topless woman. And I was like, what in the hell is that? I mean, aren't those supposed to be private? What is this woman doing exposing her unmentionables on a picture, nonetheless? So my curious mind ended up, listen, at 8 years old, I ended up taking this picture off of my dad's office door. Now, it wasn't Dad's, it was the owner's. I'll be clear on that. I come to find out later, Dad came and asked me, he's like, Chad, did you by chance take a picture from the office? Because it's missing. And the owner was questioning everybody where it was. Well, guess what? Owner of shoe store? 8-year-old kid took it. Sorry. So that was my introduction into porn. Now I grew up in a very religious town, and so porn, and not just that. I mean, the internet wasn't even available. So to get porn, you either had to have a video, or magazines. Back then, magazines were really popular. Now, surprising as it is, we found a kid that said he used to walk the ditch banks or the side of the highways, and he would find a multiplicity of porn mags. I'm not lying. This is real. Hey, may God strike me down right now. Wait for it. Okay, we're good. No, I'm not lying. That's how us kids would find our porn. We'd watch ditch banks. And then when you have it, you sure in the heck had to find a pretty dang good hiding spot. Pretty good dang hiding spot. I mean, we got so crafty that we'd get plastic bags and literally hide them out in like a shed or underneath a wood pile, wherever we had to find hide it. That's what we did. I mean, we had to get creative because we didn't want to get caught. Now, as I got older, I think really when the porn addiction got kicked into the next level, because it was just kind of off and on through school, through high school. Porn hit hard once that internet kicked in. Once that internet kicked in and it was accessible, it became a real addiction for me. Like so much so, and I'm going to just kind of jump to, jump to the end on this. But my first marriage, obviously I had addiction with, I've been very upfront with my addiction with drugs and alcohol. That was a cause of my divorce, but so is porn addiction. I battled porn addiction through my entire marriage. And once I got divorced, I didn't date. So like my my romantic relationship ended up becoming porn for a long time. It wasn't up until really about a year and a half ago, I think, or so ago, that I decided to quit. And the reason that I decided to quit, therapy, and my walk with God is really where I took probably my biggest leap into realizing that there is no benefit here for me. And the reason why I say that is because I just feel like pornography, for one, it ruined my marriage. It made my ex-wife, it ruined her self-esteem. I took a big hit on her self-esteem because then she's, she would always ask herself and ask me, am I not good enough? And, sitting back and listening to that now, wow, what a POS I was. Because I battled it through my entire marriage. What a POS, that I wouldn't take bigger strides in overcoming that addiction. And now it is what it is. But I'm very sorry for that, for sure. I'm very sorry that I made her feel that she wasn't good enough. Because really it wasn't my point, it wasn't my point to make her feel bad. It was an addiction. And, you would think that, so, because I would go and talk to, I'd go and talk to her. I'd feel guilty and I would tell her. And so she had to deal with that for almost 10 years of marriage. But porn addiction was a part of ending that marriage. And so you talk to me, I think porn disrupts intimacy. Now I know, like I've got friends, I've got married friends who bring that, into the bedroom because it spices things up, whatever. Now if that's if that keeps the flame going, that keeps the flame going. But to me, honestly, I think porn kills intimacy completely, in my opinion. Because it's just, it's actors, you know what I mean? Like, you're putting a false sense of something, and I believe that should be special between, two people, and and kind of devalue that intimacy, that special, that special bond um between your lover. And so it it took me therapy. It took me my walk with God for me to um really like get a grip on it, realizing that if I ever got involved in another relationship, I don't want this walking with me. I don't want this coming along into my relationship where I already killed the marriage. I already killed the marriage. Um, this is some staggering facts. 40 million Americans regularly visit porn sites. 88% of porn scenes contain physical aggression. 25% of search engine queries are for pornography. Another fact, there's an increased risk of pregnancy among female teen viewers, which makes sense. Because I don't know about you, but the pornography that I watched, I didn't see them teaching safe sex. Not one time. And so there you see, how porn can really mess up your view of sex. And there's an increased attitudes about sexual I'm going to say this wrong, objectification. If you don't know what that means, neither did I, but it means the action of degrading someone to the status of mere objects. That was that one kind of surprised me a little bit. I mean, obviously we know that you'll have relationship issues. I know it did for me, ruined my marriage. But here's something. It gives you issues with sexual libido and your sexual health, and it definitely it has an impact on mental health issues. Like I said, intimacy and relationships, and we just talked about it. I mean, we just talked about how obviously it impacts relationships. But it gets you like, I mean, think about it. Like 88% of porn scenes contain physical aggression. Physical aggression. I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, hey, I'm not on no soapbox. Okay. I love my sex life. Um, but teaching, pornography teaching someone, that they're nothing more than a mere object. I think that says a lot. It really does mess with your mental health. Um, I want to talk about 5 ways to overcome pornography. Like I said, mine was a walk with God in therapy. Like that what I learned in therapy really did help pave the way to I guess my sobriety from pornography. Going to AA and learning just some very common kind of like check yourself. If this is an addiction, doesn't matter what type of addiction it is, there's a blueprint, to kind of check yourself. Now, if you're out there, struggling right now, trying to overcome pornography, I would suggest this: seek professional help. Either that or join a support group. But you got to have somebody, I think, in my opinion, kind of help enforce or help you stick to your goals. And you have to set, specific goals. And two, you got to replace the habit because it's just like an addict. As an addict, what I've learned in my addiction, I'm like a monkey in a tree. I am not going to let go of that vine until I've got another vine in my hand, and I will swing it till I get to the next one, and on and on and on we go. Here's a tough one. You're going to have to do some action steps, and I know that there is software out there, you guys. I know there is software. Um, you know, I I've been in addiction recovery, specifically for porn addiction. And so I learned that, one way that you can kind of help overcome some of these urges is one, limit the access, use the software, and then on top of that, have your significant other or a friend, family member, somebody you can trust, set the password. So you can't get that easy access. What's really hard, is preventing that relapse. Because I mean, porn kind of puts that idea in your mind. As you walk out, you're going to see pretty men and women everywhere you go. And this is where that mental health issue comes into, is because, porn teaches you to look at these people just as objects, not as, God's creation. So you have to be aware, of situations and especially keep your emotions in check. And two, just like a drug addict, you have to avoid places that trigger your urge to watch pornography. And you have to establish like a routine. You have to establish a daily schedule that keeps you busy and focused. Same with drugs and alcohol. You definitely want to practice self-care. I think that's just self-care helps build self-esteem and confidence. So make sure you're eating well, exercising, and getting enough sleep, And then just keep a journal. Just monitor your progress. Keep a journal and take track. Track of your progress, track of your setbacks. These are ways that you can keep, in front of your addiction. And two, you have relapses. What I've learned, you have a relapse, you have that journal, you write down what happened. What happened? What triggered me? I had an argument, couldn't pay a bill, or I was just getting depressed, felt like crap, felt bored, 100 reasons. But you want to keep track. If you're serious about overcoming your addiction to porn, you're going to have to have some action steps. You're going to have to get serious about it. One thing as I learned as a drug addict and alcoholic is I don't get to live a normal life because I have to wake up with a condition that if I mess up one time, it could possibly take my life. That's where my addiction gets me to, because I'm so excessive compulsive. Now, listen, those out there who maybe, know somebody or a significant other that's dealing with a porn addiction, if they really want to get over this addiction, try to approach that conversation with a little bit of empathy and understanding, and try to avoid judgment, because you're not going to open the door for a place that this person can feel safe or could trust you. Sometimes sharing your personal experiences and what worked for you, obviously, if you can connect to somebody and say, hey, I kind of know what you're going through, if you can speak from that place, that's great. Also, it's like we talked about, suggest seeking therapy and counseling. That's a popular topic. Nobody usually wants to, to run to therapy and counseling. In fact, I know friends, people who are close to me who go to therapy, and instead of really using therapy to their benefit and getting the help that they need and overcoming whatever it is they're in therapy, they just go there and they just sit there, BS with the therapist, and just tell them what they want to hear so they can get that positive reinforcement. But if you're going to therapy or counseling, be upfront and honest. Because I mean, who are you fooling? That counselor doesn't care. I'm sorry to say that. I'm just saying, counselors getting paid anyway. You might as well go there and get the help that you need, especially if you're waking up and you're like, why does my life suck so bad? Why can I not overcome this? Get down, get gritty, get the situation taken care of and under control. And you're going to do that with therapists, because that therapist will hold you accountable. And you'll have, weekly, monthly, conversations about it. And they'll help you continue on that road to recovery. Also discuss how addiction can affect relationships, mental health, and the overall well-being. Granted, if you're in your addiction, that goes in one ear and out the other. But these are just steps you got to take. When you're trying to give advice to others. Also, you can provide some action steps and resources that can help them, start their recovery journey. This is kind of like we talked about before. There's support groups, therapists, religious, a lot of these religious organizations, have religious leaders that give and can help with your addiction. Here's a couple of educational insights. Explain how addiction works and how it can alter brain chemistry. You'll have to do your research on that. It's pretty fascinating. And in fact, I read one study that using alcohol and drugs, it affects the same part of your brain. Pornography affects the same part of your brain that makes you feel good, which I thought was I thought that was pretty crazy. Like the same part of your brain that that is associated with with reward, motivation, and memory get turned on. And so there again, it lies, some of the mental downfalls that pornography can have on you. To deal with temptation, you have to be mindful, and you have to meditate. Like I said, like addiction, it's an addiction in your life for a reason. There's a reason, why this has become, to the point where it's unmanageable. So you really have to practice like mindfulness and even meditate. Like meditate's a huge is a huge plus if you can do it. A lot of people don't like meditation because they expect something to happen. But meditating, sitting down with yourself in like 10 minutes of just quiet time and just allow your brain to do what your brain does and just find control there. Realize that you're more in control of your thoughts than you think you are. And your thoughts don't have to be your actions. That's a good place to meditate. My thoughts don't have to be my actions. Those thoughts turned into feelings and emotions. Those feelings and emotions turned into actions. So practice techniques to stay present and manage urges. We talked about accountability with like a partner. So have I mean, if you don't have somebody, it's it. I mean, I don't have any advice for that. I just say get a support group. If you don't have someone to call or text, find a support group. Just have someone, to call or text you when you feel tempted. Like that's what we learned in AA. Um, you know, in order for you to maintain, long-term recovery from this addiction, um, it's just like AA. I'm going to be a member of AA for the rest of my life. So, regular check-ins, you got to stay consistent in your meetings or your therapist or your support group. Continuously to set new personal and professional goals. Just to stay motivated. Keep your mind and your time in the right place, not in idleness. Maintain a balanced diet. I think that all around, like if you can eat healthy, exercise, and get proper sleep, I mean it's worth the Google. I mean, if you want a happier, healthier life, eat healthy, exercise, get your proper sleep, drink your water. Um, that's the best thing that you can do in order for your body to feel good. That's just science. Try to regularly assess your emotions and your mental health because, like I said, thoughts turned into emotions, emotions slingshot into actions. So also, build and maintain a healthy, supportive relationship. If you've been addicted to a porn before and you're getting into a relationship, at some point, if it starts getting serious, you want that person to back you up because if you're not open and honest with that person, they'll never know what you're battling, what you're going through. They won't know your triggers. So it's extremely important, to stay ahead of the game, and providing that for yourself. Just some places you can reach out to. I mean, we talked about, therapy, counseling. There's something called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a type of psychotherapy or talk therapy. You'll work with a mental health professional to identify those problem areas in your life and learn ways to overcome them. Let's see. Acceptance and committee therapy is a form of CBT that emphasizes accepting your thoughts and urges and committing to action that are more in line with other values. Psychodynamic psychotherapy focuses on becoming more aware of unconscious thoughts and behaviors, learning about your motivations and resolving conflicts. Meditation can help control brain chemicals linked to obsessive thoughts and actions. We kind of talked about that. We kind of talked about that with meditating. Also you can look into self-help support groups like Sex Addicts Anonymous or Sexaholics Anonymous. In addition to having people who understand what you're going through, they can also point you to mental health professionals who are trained in dealing with excessive porn use. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration Treatment Referral Helpline, just in case you need it. You want to get that help, I'll give it to you. 1-800-662-4357. And they can point you into a professional in your area. So I love you guys. Pornography. Each your own. You're going to do what you're going to do anyway. If you're talking to the old shadow, I say nay. I say nay on that. I don't want it in my life. I don't want it in my relationship. I think it takes away from intimacy. I think it ruins relationships. Obviously, it ruined my marriage. And it's degrading. It makes you look at people nothing other than something you can uh, that can satisfy you. And you start looking at them just like objects. And I just don't think I just don't think, in my opinion, I just don't think that's how it's meant to be. I mean, we're all special human beings, with gifts and talents that go beyond just what we can do in the bedroom for somebody. Um, I feel like it's demoralizing, and it just ruins someone's value. So, my opinion, say nay. Just say no. Stop, drop, and roll. That's a good one. You start thinking about about porn. You're gonna say play, stop, drop, and roll. Nothing's going to get you out. Nothing's going to get you out of your thought process, and a good quick stop, drop, and roll. I was told, these were some action steps. I was told you start having urges, go put your head in put your head in the freezer. No lie. Go put your go put your head in the freezer. Take a cold shower. And then exercise. Exercise was a big one. You start feeling those feelings, emotions. Go get some physical aggression out. Go exercise. Go get some fresh air. But anyways, I love you guys. Thanks for joining me on another episode of a pretty sensitive topic, pornography addiction. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for joining me here on this journey through the realities and resolution of addiction. I hope today's episode has provided not just insight, but inspiration and practical steps for overcoming the powerful grip of pornography addiction. Remember, no matter how deep the struggle, there's always a way up. If you found value in today's story, please share this podcast with others and subscribe and leave a review. Come on now. Help a brother out. Your support helps me reach more people who need hope and guidance. Let's continue to be advocates for support, recovery, and community. Together we can make a difference. Sincerely, thank you so much for being a part of Rock Bombs Up. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, and keep moving forward. Good night, y'all.